Wolfie, okay there?
Yeah. Hey,
Okay, let's do the. Here we go with the intro. Okay, let me put that there. And that is probably as happy as it's going to get all night tonight, isn't it, guys? Welcome, everybody. Welcome to this trauma
shalom.
counseling session. It's not a review show, it's trauma counseling. We're here to kind of help each other through what has been a difficult day, difficult 24 hours as we recover from what happened last night. Welcome to the trauma counseling show of the what's it? Arsenal Cape Town Official Supporters Club 2021. Welcome. It's hard,
supporters. That's a new definition for supporters, huh?
We're gonna hold hands for the next half an hour and not speak. Maybe that will help. Okay, so welcome everybody. This is Morgan here. It's a weird time to have a show. It's a Sunday night, and I'm joined here in the studio tonight by the panelists, the people who are gonna give me hope. Joanna. We're starting Alex Marsh in the UK, Wolfie Witten, Cape Town, and Charlie, who's called Processing tonight. I think he's taken up a career in rap music, hip hop. So
yeah.
Processing.
Yeah, no, Morgan. I'm trying to trust the process, but it's hurting, right? So I'm still processing the trusting of the process.
Process is a very loaded word here in being for Arsenal at the moment. We are processing a lot.
Yeah.
Wolfie.
Yeah.
Okay, so tonight we're basically going to keep things simple. We're going to talk about last night and what happened last night, and we're going to come up with some reasons for what happened last night, and then we're going to look for some hope and try and understand and say we had a little behind the curtains discussion, sort of a preview discussion, and Alex is going to give us hope tonight, and he's optimistic about what's coming. Then we're going to talk a little bit about our Thursday match, where we hope we bounce back because there could be joy still forthcoming this season. And then we're going to look ahead at the league games. Not that the league games matter anymore, because I don't know, we're not going anywhere. We move to 9th, but we'll probably be back in 10th sometime shortly. So, guys, I promised myself something. I also promised Wolfie. Wolfie, we're going to talk about last night's game. So tell me how you're doing, and then tell me what happened last night.
Fuck.
People, I think that summed it up. It's been a lovely show. I don't think we should say anything more. We'll see you next week. No, Wolfie.
Hey,
Wolfie, even Facebook will forgive you a bit of swearing tonight.
I watched the game yesterday with Liverpool supporters. He was a young lad that was sitting there. I asked him, who do you support? He told me, I support Arsenal. And I embraced him, but I was so embarrassed sitting there watching this game. It was total disgraceful. It was, the worst performance I've ever seen. Okay, I'm going to go back to the Man City game where, for me, that was a bad performance. But I've never, ever seen a performance like this in my life yet. And what
made it so bad? What made it so much worse than other? Is it just the scoreline? Man City decided they're going to take the gas, and so
the fact that we never came to play football. That was not football that we watched last night. I watched the highlights, and there's nothing. There's nothing of Arsenal. There's no highlight of Arsenal attacking. There's nothing. It's just the goals of Liverpool, and that's it. And Liverpool, they were not that good. We never made them look good. They were not that good. We basically gave all 3 goals to them. It's a disgraceful performance. And people, if you guys are saying trust the process, what is this process? I want to ask the people that's now active on the show, even the panelists. I want to ask you guys, what is the process? I did not see football. There was no game plan. What was I watching? Because that was not football last night.
Yeah. Can I go?
Okay, so we're gonna So because I'm so traumatized, I forgot a whole bunch of things. I forgot to say that Lamise is not here with me tonight. She hasn't abandoned me forever. She is simply on holiday.
I think she chose not to be here. Morgan, you can come out with the truth.
I think she saw something. I forgot to mention that sort of a beloved pundit on the Arsenal, the AF TV show, had passed away this past week. I forgot to mention that Arsenal kind of also commemoralized. No, what did we do? How do you say it? What's that word? How do you say it? Commemorated. Oh, this is what trauma causes people. We've seen it in Vietnam vets. We've seen it in Iraqi war vets, and now you've seen it among Arsenal fans. Arsenal commemorated the passing 20 years ago of former gunner David Rocastle. And then I forgot to go through the results that started off so promising when Chelsea lost to West Brom, and I thought, okay, the Chelsea manager, what's his name, Tucci, as I like to call him, is not invincible. You can be beaten because we're playing them in a couple of weeks. And then the 4th game of the weekend. Yeah. Okay, so Wolfie says there was nothing there to redeem us. Redeemable. There was nothing. Alex, you have a different spin on that, don't you?
Hey, I'm not going to sit here and defend that performance because it was absolutely shocking. I can't. No one can defend that performance, really. The only light that I have at the end of the tunnel, really, is the fact that Saka wasn't playing, Smith Rowe wasn't playing. When Tierney went off, that's actually when we started losing. Plus, we didn't have Xhaka playing, and people might say, "Oh, Xhaka's useless" or whatever, but he does provide defensive cover for that left-hand side. As and when the left back goes bombing up the wing, he does provide a hell of a lot of cover. It took me back to, and I was saying this before the show. It took me back to just before we played Chelsea, when everyone, like quite a lot of people, and myself included, were having serious doubts about this whole trust the process thing, and serious doubts about Arteta. But he brought in some use. He brought, Saka started to play more regularly. Brought in Smith Rowe and Tierney at left back as well. It looked like we could actually be a decent side. But we got taken back to before that game against Chelsea, and it was like watching it all over again, and it was absolutely abysmal. And I think if after that game Arteta doesn't get the wake up call and he doesn't start dropping some of these big players, if he doesn't have the balls himself, he's talking about big people having big balls. He needs to get a big pair of balls now and start dropping his captain, and he needs to grow a big pair of balls and choose somebody else that's a better leader as the captain. Because Aubameyang's not working as a captain. He is not captain material at all. We all know it. Everybody knows it. The pundits know it. All footballers know it. I'm sure probably Arteta probably knows that he's not really a captain. He's just been lumbered with him of the captain as Emery walked out the door or got thrown out the door. I don't know. I want to see that light at the end of the tunnel. I want to see, hopefully Saka's going to come back. Smith Rowe's going to come back. We're going to start looking a bit decent again. Unfortunately, Tierney's out, which means we've got no cover at left back for him. And Cedric certainly can't defend in that position. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But, if he doesn't start playing Martinelli now, then he really is putting a gun to his head and pulling the trigger as far as I'm concerned, because Aubameyang has just not cut it in that position at all. He needs to make the changes, or it's going to be his job at the end of the season.
Charlie, Charlie, I've called you by 3 different names tonight, Charlie. Playing this all on the shock. This question here that Jeremy says, well, it's not so much a question as a sarcastic observation. So trust the process is actually trusting 18 to 20-year-olds. Do you think that is true, or I'm going to try and say, should part of the process be bringing in a few different older faces to
so look, I think last night obviously the big disappointment was that the players there didn't put in the performance that was needed at all, right? So I think the big issue is that the guys that were on the pitch, and to Wolfie, your question, what is the process? The process is we need players that are going to come onto the pitch and that are going to deliver, and they're going to put a performance against what I thought was a strong Liverpool press, right? Liverpool's press was choking us the same way they've choked us for the last couple of seasons. We never got out of first gear. We couldn't get the ball out wide. We couldn't play down through the center and find spaces. So that Liverpool press needed us to play a certain type of game, and we were just outfought by Liverpool. Every duel we lost. So I was so bit daunted after that game, really, Morgan. I just went to normally, you can watch the highlights, you listen to the pundits talk after the game, you check your streams or whatever. I just didn't listen to anything. The only thing I listened to was Arteta's post-match interview. And I think the guy hit the nail on the head, because he said, at the end of the day, there's no excuses. There's no, the players they put up there, they must be able to do the job. Otherwise, they have to get out. And I think that is the process or the learning from this match. That there were some players, and I think Alex hit the nail on the head. Yeah. Aubameyang is he's not cutting it. I think when Martinelli came on, he looked more hungry. He was pressing more. He just seemed to be more into it and more tuned to what Arteta wants the team to play like. So there's definitely a lot of stuff that's needed, and the manager has to start making some really, really bold decisions.
Yeah. A number of players must have disappointed last night. We're talking about Gabriel, who just didn't, who kind of had a torrid second half. Partey struggled. I just want, let me just stop there quickly. Thomas Partey, there's been a lot of suggestions that we don't need to play 2 defensive midfielders. Do you think that maybe we should, especially in games like this when we go up against some of the better teams?
Our defence isn't cut out for not playing 2 defensive midfielders, if you ask me. It's
we can get away with it against the smaller teams, and
possibly. I don't even see what proper defensive midfielders we've got. Is Thomas Partey a proper defensive midfielder? I'm not sure he is. I think he's more of a CM. I don't see him as a CDM. Is Xhaka a CDM? I don't see him as a CDM either. I don't actually think we've got one. I think we've got 2.
I think Xhaka surely has to count as one. I think Granit is probably whether he's a traditional one, but he certainly does play that role, and he certainly does it well, I think.
He covers it well on the left-hand side. There's no doubt about that. When Tierney bombs forward, or even when Cedric bombs forward, his cover on that left-hand side is phenomenal. And I think it often goes, people often miss it. Because on the right side, when Bellerin makes a run forward, no one's covering him.
Yeah, Wolfie, I want to give you. I know you want to talk about a certain. I want to put something up here. And I'm sure you're gonna have a field day with this. This is a few things happened with Unai. Some people feel he wasn't given enough of a chance, but this is kind of a comparison of the performances in the league. I think that's Unai's league performances as well. 51 games, 125, drew 13, lost 13. Managed to get 88 points out of that 153 up for grabs. Mikel, by comparison, certainly is not going to do as well by game 51. What are your thoughts on that, Wolfie? on Mikel.
Shocking.
You don't have to go
Look,
back, Unai.
Yeah, look, just about looking at this, it's shocking. I mean, what's it? 13 points difference. It is shocking. I mean, what we all liked about Emery was he would not be afraid to make changes, or when things wasn't going our way or things wasn't working to his tactical brain, he would make a change immediately. Where Arteta, we've all watched the game. We all saw that something wasn't working. There was no attack. There was no this. There was no that, and he just sat there and waited. I mean, can somebody please tell me why did we bring Martinelli so late? Was Aubameyang having a good game? Was he having a good game? No. No one was having a good game. Why didn't he make changes halftime? Why did he wait till so late?
Yeah, according to reports, he was screaming at Aubameyang quite a lot throughout the game, that he wasn't sitting, he wasn't playing high enough, he wasn't pressing high enough.
Why are you playing two strikers?
Why would you wait? Anybody else have any idea why you would wait so late?
It doesn't make sense. No, it just doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense. And why are we playing two strikers? People talk about we're playing two defensive midfielders. Why are we playing two strikers? I mean, if you looked at the ball position, we were 35% at home. We were the home team.
I can see the reasoning for it. I can see the reasoning for it.
Look, at the end of the day,
Alexander-Arnold plays a high press and he plays high up the pitch. The aim really would be for Aubameyang to get behind him use his pace and get in behind Trent Alexander-Arnold. It just didn't work because he's not getting high enough up the pitch to start with. We're not putting the balls into him, and he's not making any runs. Yeah. So it was just a failure, and it was a failure on Aubameyang's part, and it was a failure of Arteta to not replace him earlier as well.
Why isn't Martinelli getting the chances? Why isn't he getting any chances?
This is it.
What does it going to have to take for him? Yeah, what's it going to take for him to start to putting faith in that boy? Why is he? I mean, we saw the difference when he came on.
Are there still genuine injury concerns with him? Because he did go down again, and I thought, oh, bloody hell, here we go again. We're back in the cycle.
He's made of glass.
He comes on. Is it going to be like that for a while? Charlie,
look,
do you
accept? I don't know, man. Now, Morgan, I was going to say, like, for me, I honestly don't care who the manager puts on, right? So he can put, and I mean, this is Arteta's point as well. The players he put on there have to put in a performance. So I mean, like Aubameyang, yes, he had a terrible game. He wasn't getting possession in the right spots that he needs, which is obviously high up in the pitch. And why was that happening? Because our midfield wasn't getting the ball. Every time we got possession, we gave the ball away. I mean, the only player that can play the long balls that Xhaka can probably run off from the back is Gabriel. I mean, Holding, playing alongside him, doesn't have the passing range like Luis maybe to be able to relieve the pressure. So the whole team was like not performing well. I don't think having Martinelli on from the start would have made a difference. I mean, ultimately, if I look at all the other poor performances, I don't think it would have changed the result. We could have maybe put in a different performance, but the result, I think, was down to the whole team not playing well, like not being able to hold on to possession, not being smart, not being brave enough to get up on the pitch. I mean,
we were losing the 50-50 balls like basically every time when it was a
every time ball. Like Fricadel. I mean, that upsets me the most. I was like, I mean, how did they bully us off the ball? I mean, I don't know, that for me is what's unacceptable in the midfield, at the back. Like our players couldn't, and even when we had the ball in good positions, now. What's his name? All the players gave position away, especially like the ones that normally are decent in position. The parties and even Pepe. Oh my goodness! For real, I don't know. He was supposed to be the outlet player, out wide, give us an option. And I mean, and that's why when Tierney went off, it showed we didn't have any outlet passes, because Tierney at least has the balls to get up, run behind defense, right? I mean, and have the engine to come back when he needs to, and not lose possession. I mean, that was really what was criminal. And I mean, I don't know. That needs to be resolved.
I want to take a question here from Warren. Wolfie, maybe you can answer this. I think this is the question. No. Yes, here's Warren's question. Warren is asked, and he's looking ahead now. If we win the Europa League while finishing 10th and finish 10th, then does it just paper over the cracks? Is the Europa League taking that title just going to paper over the cracks?
People need to get it into their heads. We're just not good enough. We are not good enough, and we will not win this year. We will not win the Europa League. I'm sorry, we're just not good enough. I mean, we keep on making the same mistakes over and over. I mean, look at Gabriel. He's a guy that I would back. I can't back him. 2 silly mistakes. We got out jumped. Our 2 defenders got out jumped by about a guy that's like 1.5 meters. I mean, really. It's our defending is pathetic. It's really pathetic. Holding, this is the second time this happened. He did it against Sterling, where a small guy out jumped him, and he did it again last night. Our players are just not good enough. And at the end of the day, it's gonna be better if we fall out of Europe, because I mean we're laying 9th in the league. I'm sorry. Why
Were there any performances, Wolfie? Were there any performances last night that made you feel some optimism, even if it's the players who
The
weren't
only
there?
guy that played really well was Partey. For me, he was our best player on the pitch. But he came from Atletico Madrid, and I mean, he's looking around him. There's no one that really stood out. I mean, he's playing with a lot of players that, I mean, they're just not good enough for this football club. I'm sorry.
I actually think Chambers didn't have a bad
Sure.
game. I thought Chambers
You
was the
never
only
had
guy that didn't have a bad game, to be honest.
But guys, I mean, what happened to the passion? I mean, we said we used the guys. What's his name, Rocky? I mean, the guy that he's a guy that played with passion. If you go back to archives, this is a guy that worked his socks off. What happened to the passion? This was such a big game. Why can't we dominate Liverpool? Why can't we I mean, in the Arsene Wenger days, we used to dominate all matches. We used to have 65%.
What I want to say is,
despite their position, they are the defending champions. They are the product of a team that has been built over quite a number of years. A team that went through some dark times. Is that
remember one thing? Okay, look, at the end of the day, why does teams that are struggling come get results at the Emirates? Why can Fulham give Liverpool a good game? Why could Burnley beat Liverpool?
Yeah.
Why could Brighton beat Liverpool?
Because Jota.
You gotta ask these kind of questions. These people have more fire in their bellies than us. We talk about trust and process, but there's nothing there to trust.
I am still, Charlie, am I being wholly naive and optimistic and a hopeless optimist by saying that Arteta still needs time? But and talking about time, does this mean which of those 2 players, those Real Madrid players, if any, would you want to hold on? Do we hold on to them?
I would say,
Ceballos?
look, I've been a Ceballos fan, hoping the guys can do well, but I think just the last couple of games he's disappointed. So I think if there were question marks around him in the manager's head to keep him or not, I would say Ceballos is not good enough. He has to go. Martin Odegaard definitely deserves a chance, even though he didn't play well at all. I mean, he really was another disappointing performance yesterday. Liverpool didn't give him any space to breathe. What's his name? Thiago Silva was top of his game. I mean, yeah, it was tough, and we always struggle against Liverpool. The only thing I'd say, right, to Wolfie's comment about why we're not getting a result and why can't we dominate the game. I mean, what we're seeing is just how far Liverpool have progressed in the time since Wenger era came to an end, right? So Wenger introduced a certain brand of football, and for a long time that was a dominating brand. But when City came in and Liverpool came in with their brand of football, which was, playing from possession, the high press, we never ever adjusted. And this is the gap that exists, right? So Arsenal does not have the type of player, firstly, to execute high press. And if we want to be able to dominate Liverpool, we have to have that type of player that presses from the front. Secondly, we need to be able to play with possession. We need to be able to play out of tight spaces. And that's what we don't have. And I mean, that's just the reality. We're not going to ever dominate Liverpool without that type of skills. And I mean, if we want to be the type of club that they have the type of success that we believe Arsenal deserves, then we have to compete against them with those same tactics. So I don't want to play a Brighton type of game without possession and score on the counter-attack. I don't want Arsenal playing that brand of football. And unfortunately, when we play against the likes of Liverpool City, this is the stark gap that exists between us. I mean, and this is the manager's job. So we have to get over it, deal with it, and get the players in that's going to allow us to compete.
Well, unfortunately, it's a long weekend. My therapist doesn't work over the Easter weekend, so I'm only checking in with her on Tuesday. It's not even WhatsApp this weekend. So I do want to ask, let's play a sort of imaginary game. If we let's just go there. Wolfie, let's start with you. If you had carte blanche, and I know we can't get rid of everyone because there isn't money to buy everyone in. If just at the defense, looking at that defense, which of those players would you consider worthy of a place next season? Which of those 5 would you let go? Which of those 5 would you want to keep? Or who still maybe kind of you undecided about?
It's looking at these players. I mean, I've said it before. Bert Lehner for me is not good enough. He doesn't have we actually let the better goalkeeper go.
So should we buy Martinez again?
We need to look into the market. We need to get some. I mean, as far as complacency is concerned, I mean, we've seen what Lehner has done, and there's no one to challenge him. There's no one to keep him on his toes. We need a solid backup goalkeeper that can challenge him and even take that number 1 spot. He's for me not good enough.
Who else would you let go?
Rob Holding, not good enough. Rob Holding's not good enough. I can't see him. We just gave him a new contract. I don't know why. He's not good enough. Gabriel, I think he's a long term, but the question for me is
a yes or no.
I'll keep Gabriel, yes. Kenny, of course. Chambers as a good backup for a right back. He can play in the midfield. He can play in various positions. My question is, we need to get that boy back that's playing for in France. What's his name? Saliba. We really need to. I mean, people speak about trust in the process. I would rather lose 3-0 with him in our defense. He needs to come back into our defense. He needs to show us what he's about. Arteta needs to give him a chance. He is the key to the, like you guys said, to the process. He needs to play.
Okay. Alex, if I gave you these 3 players, you're gonna get the strikers.
Just get rid of all of them.
None of them redeemable.
I don't know. I think Pepe is an absolute joke. What annoys me actually about Pepe, or what annoys me about one of the many things that annoys me about Arteta is when Pepe started to play like he was actually going places on the left-hand side, and as soon as he had a few good games on the left-hand side, he stops playing him, and then he starts playing him on the right again, and since then he's looked totally lost.
Okay, there seems to be a couple of voices. There seem to be a couple of voices who agree with you. Dean says sell them all. I don't know if he's just referring to the strikers or the entire squad. Warren says our strikers can go. Let me just jump quickly to. I'm going to give Charlie the difficult lot. Charles.
Okay. So
which of those substitutes?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'd keep Suarez, but obviously play him in his natural position on the right. I mean, I think he did well there. And probably more of a squad player than number 1. I think we still need to get a better right back. El Neni, man, I don't know. I don't want to judge him on this game.
Recently. Remember the wonderful goal that he scored recently?
Yeah, so El Neni, I mean, again, he's a decent squad player. He's not going to be the one that we line up against Liverpool and going to give Liverpool a game. So he's not the right stuff. And then Martinelli, I think, definitely a keeper. I think the manager definitely missed a trick there. If ever he needed to rest Aubameyang, I think Martinelli would have done better than Aubameyang. So I think he needs more game time. I don't know what's going on there. There's something going on. Clearly, the manager's not sharing what's going on, but there's reason Martinelli's not getting the game time we all think he deserves.
Okay. So I want to just so the manager, if I let's do this.
Manager gets a no.
Okay, we don't have a quiz tonight. Here is a quiz question. Of the three of you, vote. The manager stays, the manager goes.
I think he stays.
Charlie says he stays.
No, he needs to stay for now. I can't see sacking him doing a blind bit of difference to us at this point in time, and I don't think that sacking him in the summer will do us any favors either. I think he needs at least one more season to try and get a team right. Try and get the players that he wants in the summer. Because let's face it, after he didn't actually get his title as a sort of a manager until after the summer transfer window had ended. So he didn't really have the final say in a lot of those transfers. He wanted Awar, and we got Partey. And let's face it, Partey hasn't turned into a great signing so far. You kind of wonder how many other players have there been where he hasn't had a say in it that have come. Willian, for example, don't think he wanted him, but Edu bought him in anyway.
I think he wanted him.
The guy, Alex, you got to remember they changed his job title. He said with his own mouth that he speaks more to Edu than he speaks to his wife. Okay. So we can't make excuses for the guy. You can't make excuses.
So why does he have to change the title then?
Remember one thing: he wanted Partey and he wanted Awar. He only got Partey. He wanted both of them.
Yeah, he preferred Awar.
Remember one thing.
Wolfie, that is not a bad purchase.
Purchases has not been bad, but my thing is this: the way he's playing them. What kind? I just don't understand. I mean, if we just made that comparison with what's his name, Una, that we've been so hard on. Arteta has got more players, but yet he's 15 points below Emery. Yeah. And Emery had to work with what he had.
Can I just say though,
Wolfie,
the one thing though,
the ballots have been cast. I want to go move on quickly because the ballots have been cast.
I say get the guy out now.
Get
the guy out. You can take this process with him.
The two guys have voted against you. I'm going to vote
for you. Take that process with me. I'm sorry. So I want to ask you guys, yesterday's game, what positives was there? What positives was there when we played Liverpool? What positives was there when we played City? I just want one positive. What have we done?
I think the positive there is that we have realized that this is not the squad. This is not the squad. So
can I just add one thing? Can I make a comment? Sorry, I
want to go ahead. I want to move ahead because I don't want us to dwell too long on that. Looking ahead, these 11 games, there were 33 points up for grab. I finally counted this table again, people. Previously, I had said 10. I can't count anymore. This is the process of aging. This happens. 11 games, 33 points up for grabs, starting with the Spurs game. We now have 4 out of the first 9 that's available. Surely the rest of the teams, other than Chelsea, we could do well against. Surely.
Not Everton, I don't think.
But to what goal, though? I mean,
Crystal Palace will play for a draw. I don't know. Brighton seem to be a little bit of a bogey team for us every now and again. You look at the fixture list, and you get and like a few years ago, maybe 10, 11 years ago or so, 20 years ago, you look at that and you go, well, easy wins. Even Chelsea, 20 years ago, that'd be a certain victory. Yeah. But now you look at it and you go, well, we could probably beat Sheffield United, maybe Fulham, possibly, although they're looking as if they're on the up, don't they? Yeah. And you go, maybe Newcastle, but they, Willock will score a goal against us. Palace will play for a draw. I mean, how many points do you think we'll get out of that? I mean, 12 if we're lucky.
Of the 21, Wolfie, what do you think? How many of those teams surely we have to take to give you some more faith in the process, if any?
Then we need to win all these games. If Arteta wants me to think about his process, we need to win all these games.
Even the Chelsea one.
Even the Chelsea one. I mean, yeah, we should be. I mean, we watched the game against. You said it. West Brom. Yeah, they went down to 10 men, but goals have to be scored. You need to attack. It needs to be within your genes to attack to win a game, and we should be beating Chelsea. I mean, I think our spirit is just.
You must understand one thing though, that we don't know how to play against 10 men. I would prefer 11 players on the other side, maybe even 12. The moment it goes down to 10, I'm concerned about our performances. Charlie, what are your thoughts on this final 8 games? 24 points up for grabs. We could still technically, if we win all those games, and out of the 33 points for the last 11 games, we could still get 28. Or are we also now? Are you also now concerned that we don't have it to take on the likes of Everton and Palace?
No, look, I mean, I think the manager has always made it clear every single game is a game that we're supposed to go out and win, right? So look, I'll take it one game at a time. I think obviously the big priority for us now is going to be that Europa League clash. So that will be where the main focus is. I think the manager probably and the squad, based on the performance yesterday, we could see they've already in the back of their minds accepted that they're not going to achieve certain goals that they set out to achieve at the start of the season. So I think making Champions League is out the door. Getting into top 6, I think.
You mean the normal way?
The normal way, yeah, the normal way.
Yes.
So I think that obviously when you're going to win a cup, it's a lottery. You know, you're not guaranteed to winning cups, even if you put in the best performances. So I think we'll do decent, and this will be really a test of the manager, because I think the team is going to come down from a big beating, and he has to lift the team back up, and that's his job, to get them hungry again and focused on delivering what's needed for the next game and to get the result. So we always judge him on the next result.
Okay, so the next match. Okay, I just want to go a little bit over the league. This is where we are at the moment. Leeds have caught up with us in terms of points and matches. Obviously, there's a concern. Well, we have a 6-goal advantage over them at this stage, but Villa is still very much in the chase. There's only a point behind us with 2 games in hand still. So, everybody, can we have a quick sort of show of hands? We'll finish 10th and then we'll be okay. Anything below 10th? Wolfie, will you settle for 10th?
I'll settle for 10th and fire Arteta.
Oh. Wolfie, that was not on the table. We've already sent the WhatsApp through. Arteta can stay. If we finish above the likes of West Ham and Everton, would that be good enough for you? Because the points are there. The points are there.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, we do need results, and we do need positive results, and we should be finishing at least 7th. I'd go for 7th. It depends on results going our way, like West Ham and Everton.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7th. I mean, 7th would be, for me, would be something not to brag about, but to be okay with.
Yeah, I agree.
And just for the record, Leeds have now won a game, so true to form, they will lose 1, draw 1, and then win again. So that should be okay.
Leeds have got a tough running now. They've got three difficult games coming up, I think, haven't they? Leeds, they've got some top ones.
Yeah. I always favor them against the top teams, against the good teams. I think they've gotten increasingly better. Surprisingly, they're not all dead on their feet yet. I expect a bunch of walking dead by this time of the season, the way they work, the way the manager works them. So I'm surprised that they are still standing.
Well, they got Man City away, Liverpool home, and then Man United at home. Don't fancy
they'll win those. They'll win those, and then the other games will just drop points.
They'll get battered. I think they'll get absolutely battered.
Yeah. They'll run at those teams. They are not scared to run at teams, but they'll just lose everything else. Now we have this game coming up on Thursday. We have this Europa League game if there's a light at the end of the tunnel, I suppose it's Europa League. Alex, your head has been going backwards. Your eyes have been and I'm worried it's going to stay there.
Well,
what do we do with players on Thursday? Who do we play on Thursday?
it depends on who's fit, doesn't it? I mean, if they're fit, you got to play Saka, you got to play Smith Rowe, and personally, I think you got to play Martinelli as well. Other than that, I mean, is Xhaka going to be fit? I'm not sure. David Luiz is injured. He's out for a few months, isn't he? Oh, a few weeks, sorry. He's had knee surgery, I think, today. Tierney's going to be injured. So that leaves us with not a lot. The left-back position is a real concern for me. If Xhaka's back, at least he'll provide some sort of defensive cover. But if he's not, and we've got someone like Ceballos or El Neni or anyone else really trying to cover Cedric, I don't know. I'm not getting my hopes up. I don't know. We play our best team. We probably got a chance. We just need to make sure that we cover that left side properly.
Okay. So I just wanted to look at something. There was a sense of optimism among the predictions that folks made last week about the Liverpool game. Let me just share this quickly. These were the predictions for the Liverpool game. Half was the only one. Half said no, he got it right. He was down at 0-2 last night. He said he's right. Ali is a cautious person, I have discovered. But generally, there was a sense of confidence that we could beat Liverpool. Now, going into Thursday, is there still a sense of confidence that we can win on Thursday? We can bounce back? Or do we trust Warren and say penalties coming up? Warren says we're going to draw both games and then we're going to have to win on penalties.
Yeah, look, I mean, what I would say is I don't think that the teams of Liverpool's caliber are in Europa League, right? So I think Liverpool, hands down, are probably top 3 or 4 teams in Europe at the moment. So I know it's painful to have suffered that defeat, but I don't think we'll face that type of opponent. So I still think we can get a result against Sparta Prague. And I think if we get a tight game, I would have liked to have gone in with a bit of confidence. Slavia Prague, yeah. So I would like to have gone with a bit of more confidence. So I think, given where we're at, probably going to be another tentative affair. So I expect a tight game, and we'll probably nick it by a goal, maybe. And we come away with a draw. It'll also be not a bad result, yeah.
Okay, so I just want to point out here that 2 weeks ago, okay, it was a long time ago since we played, since Arsenal had a game. Charlie confidently stated that we'll beat Sparta Prague 3-0 in that first game.
Dude, games change. Soccer's a game of confidence, sir.
Alex, but you put your money down.
We can see there's no confidence on your face.
Just for the record, I've already put down my 50 rand.
Liverpool, wipe the confidence away.
I've already put my 50 rand down on Arsenal winning the Europa League, and I could win a whole 180 rand. So that was Charlie. Alex was clearly smoking.
I had a flashback to like 2007 or something.
Alex said that we beat Sparta Prague 6-0 in that first. So
Alex, come on, man.
Before I ask you guys if you want to change your score lines, Wolfie, what do you see the scoreline is? We're going to be on Thursday. And
We're
playing home, yes.
Yeah, look, I would go for the win. I can't see. I mean, we've been like really, really poor, but we can't be poor enough to not get a positive result against Slavia. I watched them play. They're good. They're decent side, but we should be taking maximum points. I mean, I'd go for a 2-0. I would go for a 2-0. I think the captain needs to be dropped. I think Martinelli needs to come in. Lacazette and Aubameyang can't play together. We've seen they can't play together. It's there's no balance in our team when the two of them are on the field together. So I would continue with Lacazette up front, and I'll play Martinelli. If Saka doesn't come back, Pepe can take his place. But I'm sure we should handle what Slavia's going to throw at us. So 2-0. I'll go for 2-0.
Okay.
I like it.
I just want to point out how the winds have changed. What you used to be north by northwest is now blowing the other direction. Brandon says 3-1, we will lose. Not too long ago, on the 21st of March, a little after that, Brandon said that we beat them 3-1 in the first leg. So, seeing that people are changing their minds, I'm going to give you two, Charlton and Alex, a chance to change your minds as well. Alex, you said 3-0 before. What's your latest prediction for Thursday's game? And who should we start?
I said 6-0.
I mean, sorry, Charlie, you said 3-0. Alex said 6-0. I know he's going to go back to 2-something. So,
I'll change mine to 2-1. 2-1.
2-1. It's okay. 3 goals are still being scored. Now let's just divvy it up. Alex, you're 6-0.
I'm going with 6. I'm sticking with 6. I'm going for the big 6. Someone's going to remain positive.
Thank you. Okay, so then Sheffield. Then we go back to the league. Let's get a test. Let's do a test of how people think our league form will go. So I need predictions for our game against. Wait, someone has asked if Thierry Henry is still playing. Dean Elsa has asked. Dean has been optimistic a little bit this evening, and then we asked him for a prediction against Thursday, and he became a little cautious. But I think he's going to change his mind if Thierry Henry starts up front. Okay.
He's a free agent now. He's not benching anymore, isn't he?
Yeah. So let's go for Alex. You get a chance to think what will happen against Sheffield United. Yeah.
Well, when we've beaten Slavia Prague 6-0, I imagine they'll be quite tired, but I think we'll still beat Sheffield. I think Sheffield United's season is done, isn't it? Really, I think getting rid of Chris Wilder was a massive mistake for them, and I think that was like the final nail in the coffin for them. So back to 2-0.
Okay. People, I'm taking 2-0 at the moment because I need something consistent in my life. I need something, a ballast to hang on to, something that says, no, the world will still be okay.
Come and join me. Join me.
Yeah. Well, we seem to have found you a spiritual, a soulmate. Dean also says 2-0 as well. Although
should we all go for 2-0?
Although Dean has also changed his mind to 6-0. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so Charlie, your prediction for Sheffield?
Man, I don't know. I think it's going to be a late game Sunday again. I'm not feeling it. So I'm going to go with a 1-1. Maybe the result.
Is that simply because you get tired on Sunday night and you expect everyone else to get tired?
Look, I think the team is going to put a lot into this Europa League, and I think the performances in the league probably are not going to be up to scratch. So they can prove me wrong, but yeah, I see a tight game there.
Okay. So a couple of people, Alex, you seem to have done a COVID. You've pulled the COVID on people because now Warren says 2-0 against. Warren is sticking to his guns that the Europa League tie will finish in penalties in a week and a half's time, but he is confident that we can beat Sheffield United. Oh my word!
Well, isn't that the 2-0 to Sheffield?
I have no idea. Nazim also says 2-0 to Arsenal against Sheffield, so I'm going to take those as well. And then so we guys are still optimistic. And then Wolfie, I need to hear what your thoughts are.
I'm going with I think we beat them 2-1 the first leg, so I'm gonna stick with that result. Pepe, I think, scored the winner. So I'm gonna go 2-1.
Are we talking about
Yeah,
Sheffield now?
Sheffield. Yeah, the Sheffield game. We beat them 2-1 in the first leg. I think it will be another 2-1 to Arsenal.
Okay. So at least there's some optimism still. No one has predicted the defeat. Some people lost their minds again and said 6-0 and all kinds of scorelines, but we'll take it. It's been that kind of week. Guys, I think we'll call it a day there. Thank you so much for joining us on this Easter Sunday evening, which is a weird time to have a show. Thank you for everyone who joined us online.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comments, your observations. We are still trying to convince Wolfie to trust the process. At the moment, the process is simply kick as many people's backsides out the door, including the manager. In time, Wolfie. In time, I promise. But thank you, everyone, for any last thoughts on anything about the Arsenal at the moment that we will bounce back. Wolfie, give us a thought.
I'd just love to see
a parting shot.
Stuff.
At the manager.
Yeah, look at. I'd love to see a little bit of. I'd love to see. Arteta really was shocked. He said it himself. He was in shock after the result. So look. He needs to show us now something. He's got to show us something. The team needs to show the supporters something, and let's hope that they show something, and that something gets blown up on the field, and we march on with a lot of positive results. I mean, the team is capable of winning and winning comfortably. So let's hope that the process actually gets shown in the next coming weeks.
Alex and Charlie, anybody want to take a stab? Wolfie has given me hope there. Wolfie has shown some level of faith and confidence in what we are still capable of.
I think we need to. I think the owners actually need to back Arteta in the summer. I'm not just talking about like one transfer or something. I'm not talking about party. There's a whole collection of players that we need in positions that we need. There's quite a few. They need to go out and they need to buy those players, and they need to get rid of the players that we don't need. I mean, we made a decent attempt to get rid of a lot of the deadwood already. Some players have already gone out the door, but we need to get rid of some of the others who just don't perform. I just think he just needs another season, and if next season is a total write-off like this one, then he needs to go. But give him a chance, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I'd say, Morgan, is with this result coming off the international break, I think we can see like how weak the team is, man. So if Arteta doesn't get these guys on the training ground and prepare them for this type of fixture to get into the right mindset, they can't show up on the day and kind of, start playing the style that he wants. So like really, I think it's not an excuse, but I think the lack of preparation for this game, specifically on the Arsenal side, if you're playing against a Liverpool team that have been playing this type of brand of football for a long time, Arteta needs to get these guys on the training pitch to show them what positions they have to take up, where they need to press, where they need to relieve pressure. And I just think that it's exposed today, like how bad the team is, because they can't figure that out on the pitch for themselves. So they need Arteta to get them drilled properly and prepared for this match, which obviously didn't have with the international break. So that's a disappointment. But we push on. And hopefully we get the better players that can do these things without needing to be drilled on the training pitch when it comes to match day.
Yeah. Anyway, so guys, thank you everyone again. We'll see you on Friday night, and hopefully there'll be a lot more optimism. So thank you everyone. Thank you. Have a great rest of your long weekend. I don't know what's happening in the UK, but we've got another day of late sleeping ahead. There's still some pickled fish in our cross buns and Easter eggs to finish off. And tomorrow we'll do so. Thank you, guys. Have a lovely
Yes, guys.
evening. Here we go.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Love you all, guys.
See ya.
Enjoy.
Bye.